FoolKiller. First Kill. Part 2 of 10.
Stan Lee presents The Calling.
And now, live from the Central Indiana State Mental Facility, here's Runyon Moody.
Okay, America, before we begin our conversation with my guest, Greg Salinger, let's bring you up to speed. Tonight's Need to Know segment is composed of simulations by our staff since no actual news footage of the FoolKiller exists. That's called a disclaimer. Now here's what you need to know. Greg Salinger was in fact the second man to assume the role of the FoolKiller. His predecessor, now deceased, was Ross Everbest, a preacher with a travel and revival show in the early 1970s. Everbest truly believed in his calling as a healer.
Praise the Lord.
As a child, he himself had been paralyzed and claimed to have been cured by Reverend Mike Pike, who became his mentor, employer, and father figure. Everbest's real father had lost his life in WW2 before Ross was even born. His mother, an Army nurse, was killed in Korea when Ross was only 9 years old. He idolized them both, and the armed forces as well. He saw himself as a soldier of God, and for that reason, the anti-Vietnam protests, which coincided with his ministry, disturbed him deeply. Atheist, pacifist hippies were tearing down everything he believed in. A moral cancer had infected the land, a malignancy of fools that preaching couldn't remedy. His crusade would have to take a new direction. He wanted Reverend Pike to be the first to know of his plans. Unfortunately, he chose an inopportune moment to barge in. Corruption had claimed Mike's soul. Everbest claimed his life. The man who'd inspired the crusade became its first victim and its shrine. Everbest preserved the body and dedicated himself and his labors to the memory of what Mike once had been. In the months that followed, an estimated 74 fools gave up the ghost to Ross Everbest. The list ranged from bikers in Florida to Satanists in California, to the publisher of a socialist newsletter in Ohio. Unlike most serial killers, though, Everbest eventually came to a violent end after a confrontation in the Everglades with the Muck Thing, or Man Swamp, or whatever the alleged monster down there is called. Now, in all honesty, I give this story about the same credence I give a politician's promise. I think it was made up by some atheist tofu sucker as a smear on the many honest, reputable evangelists. But that's how you heard it, right, Greg?
More or less, yes.
And you found it inspiring, didn't you?
Well, in a way, I was in jail at the time for disorderly conduct. Supposedly, though, all I did was defend myself.
Oops, wrong planet, Greg. Here on Granola World, we don't defend ourselves. We mule and whine and apologize for not being weak.
Mr. Moody, please take your hand off me.
Sure. Anyway, after hearing the story, you decided that maybe the FoolKiller had the right idea.
Sort of. I didn't share Everbest's religious beliefs. I was more inclined to think in literary than theological terms, but it was clear to me that something had gone horribly wrong with our society. We were adopting an ethic of mindless hedonism and a short-run mentality. You could hear it as clearly in the music, disco, back then, as in the testimony at the Watergate hearings. Things were all that mattered. The life of the mind and the spirit was decaying, rotting. Anyone who expected more from life than a party and a paycheck was an object of ridicule. The disaffected couldn't even be bothered to seek their own solutions. They just shopped for a convenient name-brand cult, the latest pop psychology or exercise fad, whatever. The poetry had gone out of living. The cognizance that things have beauty, acts of beauty, were essential to human existence.
Poetry.
We were living only to consume, treating our lives, our values, our bodies, our friends and lovers as nothing more than products. We were becoming a nation of fools, a world of fools.
So you took up the mission of the FoolKiller.
Yes, to hunt down and make examples of the greediest, most thoughtless, most useless of the fools.
Yes, well, you certainly selected an interesting assortment. We've simulated some of them. Here, you're vaporizing the supervillain called Blockbuster. Who's that guy who was fighting?
I honestly don't recall.
And here, you're zapping away at the Valkyrie and Hellcat. What led you to think they were fools?
I prefer not to answer. I misjudged them.
They got your number, though. Had you carted off to a loony bin. But you never made it to your destination. Ambulance hydroplaned off the road, and you sashayed out the back door and off to a new round of fool killing. More interesting victims. Couple of FBI agents, the registrar, the Empire State University. I didn't kill him. You know that. Though not for want of trying. Luckily, another lunatic in spandex intervened to save him. That was your last escapade as the FoolKiller. A court in New York believed your insanity plea and shipped you back home to Indiana.
I'm curious, Greg. In your own opinion, do you think you belonged in the booby hatch?
Oh, no question. By the time I ran into Spider-Man, I was not in possession of my faculties. But,
What? Go on.
I wasn't mad in the beginning, and my assessment of the human condition wasn't wrong. What drove me past the brink was my failure to change anything. The fools are still running the planet, and their senselessness has spread to the common man. Material wealth is now the only criterion by which a person's worth is judged. Ethics are dead, a casualty of the bottom line. And as people grow wealthier or aspire to wealth with mounting desperation, they grow more brutal and uglier in their hearts. Take the homeless, perfect example.
Of the ugly, desperate rich?
Of the product of their passive brutality. The gang killings, the drug war, all about money. Is there poetry or beauty in any of that? The fools got the world they wanted.
We'll be back in a moment, America, to take your cause for the FoolKiller.
New York.
Moron. Hasn't got a clue to what that guy's trying to say. I'm almost tempted. What?
Oh, hello, Patrick.
Any news on the rent man?
No, not yet. I need a little more time. I had the hell beat out of me last week. I've only been back at work a few days.
It's not up to me, Kurt. The landlord wants his money. Isn't there anybody you can borrow it from?
You'll get the money as soon as I have it. Embarrassing me won't expedite it. God, where does he get the right?
We're back, America. Let's take our first call. Go ahead, Minneapolis. You're on the air with the FoolKiller.
Yeah, I want to know if he thinks the media isn't making people more violent and all.
Busy.
Greg, what about that?
I think fools affix blame everywhere where it belongs.
And where is that?
On themselves. The media don't control anyone's thoughts or actions.
Damn.
Orange, California. Speak to me.
Runyon Moody Show. Where are you calling from?
New York.
Thank you. Please hold.
But aren't the liberals in Congress at least partly responsible for our decay in values? If there are fools in Washington, Mr. Moody, it's because fools elected them. Come on. We all know the little guy can't. The little guy votes for whichever candidate tells him he doesn't have to think or care. You are one hard case, Greg.
And you're still a moron.
New York City. You're talking to the FoolKiller. Are you there, New York?
Me?
Yeah, you. You got a question, or you just want to breathe heavy?
I wanted to know if I could write to Mr. Salinger.
Sure, why not? It's still a free country, isn't it?
Still the greatest country on earth, Greg.
That's not what he asked.
Maybe this is the start of a FoolKiller fan club, huh?
Only fools need sycophants, Mr. Moody, and only a bigger fool becomes one.
Well, you've got some interesting opinions, pal, but you should never lose faith in the good old USA or the people that make her great.
I'm actually gonna do this. Write a letter to a total stranger. I'm crazier than he is. But some of the stuff he said, I don't know. Since then, what?
Indiana. Some days later.
Dear Mr. Salinger,
9 months ago, my father was murdered in an alleyway in the Bronx. Since then, all my beliefs about the way the world is supposed to work have been demolished. Shortly after my father's death, I lost my job. Silver Eagle Savings Bank, where I had been employed as a loan officer, was declared insolvent. The reason, of course, was gross mismanagement. But management didn't suffer. They bit the bullet and made the tough choices and fired 24% of their staff. The business magazines praised them for making the organization lean and mean again. After 7 months of pounding the pavement, I was still jobless. My wife and I had depleted our savings and sold most of our possessions. She filed for divorce. I moved out of our co-op in Riverside. I'm now living in a one-room apartment, and my profession is turning fast food burgers on a grill. A week ago, 2 guys in ski masks came into the Burger Clown where I work and robbed the place. I tried to stop them and was badly beaten. Later, in the emergency room, looking at all the other victims of batterings, stabbings, gunshot wounds, and God knows what other brutalities, I think I arrived at a point of view something like yours. The world and my life now seem to me like one great open wound, festering at the edges with corruption and violence. We are all swimming in the blood of that wound, wallowing in the infection, afraid to call for first aid because that would mean admitting that the wound exists. You asked Runyon Moody if this was still a free country? It's not. It is a country held hostage by the disease that infests it. Not liberals and crime, as Moody believes, but crippling self-delusion. Thank you for reading this, Mr. Salinger. Yours truly, Kurt Gerhardt.
I'm glad you decided to show me this, Greg.
Well, I didn't want you to think I was hiding anything from you, Dr. Mears.
Don't you think I trust you, Greg?
About some things you do. Yeah, but this is different.
Are you going to answer him?
Haven't decided. Do you think I should?
I don't know, Greg. He sounds like a deeply troubled man. Perhaps you should ask yourself if you could help him with that in any way.
New York. 1 week later.
Hey, Kurt, what you got on for tonight? Need a date?
Not tonight, Lita, but thanks for keeping me in mind.
Hey, Kurtzy, you bring me home a burger? Or maybe some Bavarian sausage?
Every night, same tired banter. Wears on me listening to it. Hi, Monroe.
Hard day at the grill, Burger Clown. Got something to really make you funny.
Sure, Monroe. I'm wasting my life in the fast food biz. What I need is an addiction. What I need is a reason to... Oh, my God. I never expected an answer. Probably isn't one. More likely a note from his shrink saying he's not allowed...
Kurt, I was just about to knock on your door. Tomorrow, Patrick, it's payday at the Clown. Mean it if you say it, pal. Vitaly's got the hots to evict you. He won't let me stall him anymore.
Whatever Salinger or his shrink has to say, it's at least got to be more interesting than an eviction notice. This is what I get for pouring out my soul to a certified madman. What did I expect anyway? For that matter, what did I want? Some kind of validation for my suffering? Am I that pathetic or just dense? Maybe that note is a genuine request and not a smart-ass prank. He might be testing me, trying to find out if I'm some crank who writes to anybody I see on TV or if I'm just another fool. So suppose he is testing me. Why should I care what he thinks of me? No, it means something to me. It must. I initiated the communication, and I did it for a reason. Something he said or the way he said it struck a nerve. It scared me and it excited me, and I have to pin it down. I wrote the first letter on impulse. This time I'll be more careful. Deal with thoughts, not feelings. Make him tell me more.
Indiana, 2 weeks later. Better, much better.
I hoped somebody out there might actually listen to what I said, maybe even think about it for a minute or two.
To believe that we are better, smarter, stronger, and richer than, for example, the Japanese. We seem to believe that we will make these things true simply by repeating them endlessly, like a mantra. The truth, which I have now experienced personally, is more difficult to accept. The way we live today, diligence is never rewarded. The prize goes not to the most qualified, but to the one who presents himself in the slickest possible manner, and who makes the most minimal demand on the limited attention span of his audience. This principle is as true in executive suites as it is in movie theaters. The trick seems to be, tell them what they want to hear, especially about themselves, and dress appropriately while doing so. The joke used to be that a conservative is a liberal who's been mugged. A liberal, then, must be a conservative who loses his job during what is touted as the most sustained economic boom in history. What does that make a person who's been mugged and lost his job? I voted for Reagan in '80 and '84. I voted for Bush in '88. I was even swayed by the Willie Horton commercial, the one about the rapist murderer released on furlough from prison. Now, though, my wardrobe looks more like Willie Horton's than George Bush's, and so does my bank balance. I'm not a rapist or a murderer, but I have the same cornered animal look in my eyes that Horton did. After the robbery at Burger Clown, I told a coworker that I believe we are living in a new age of barbarism, that we are hostages to random, senseless brutality. After hearing you speak on television, I began to understand why people deal in drugs and take them, why they rob burger clowns, why they kill old men in Bronx alleyways. When material success is the only value a society endorses, and the punishment for not achieving it is as crushing as what I've experienced, people will do anything to avoid being called a loser. They would rather be fools, I think. Yours truly, Kurt Gerhardt.
But this exceeds all hopes. This exceeds.
Greg, it's Dr. Mears. May I come in?
Yeah, sure.
The staff tells me you received another letter from your pen pal. Is that it?
Yeah, it is.
May I see it?
If you don't mind, Dr. Mears, I'd rather not share this one. What the guy wrote was personal, very much so. I'd feel like I was betraying a confidence if I showed it around. Besides, I'm cutting off the correspondence.
Really? Why's that?
I just thought about what you said and decided I couldn't help him. All his problems boiled down to lack of money and hunger for affection. I don't have any respect for either.
No compassion for him? No sympathy?
You want the truth? Not much. So what does that mean? That deep down I'm still hopelessly sociopathic?
No, Greg. It means that, like everyone else, you're willing to give only so much of yourself to a stranger. If anything, it's a positive sign.
New York, some days later.
Who? Yeah, hello?
I'm only allowed one 10-minute call per week. Listen carefully.
Salinger?
Do you know what a modem is?
Yes.
Do you have one?
Yes.
Good. So do my keepers. Get paper and pencil.
I'm staggering to the desk. Go on.
219-555-7698. That's a number for a computer bulletin board. Do you know what that is?
Yes.
Good. Call it. Log on with the name Miles Fish. Leave a private message to Ian Bird, B-Y-R-D.
Got it.
This is how we'll communicate from now on. Nothing on paper. Is that clear?
Yes, but I have to know if you are who I think you are.
Think whatever you want. It's a free country.
Several cups of coffee later.
Haven't used this thing in ages. Data Pulse 2400 modem. I don't even remember what the initials under the light stand for. HSAACD? Cables are a mess. Wonder if I still have the software.
Several boxes of floppy disks later.
Figures it would be right under my nose. I've been meaning to get this stuff organized ever since I moved in. Insufficient motivation, I guess. How much use does a burger cook have for a computer?
Kurt!
What? Linda?
Bobby sent me to see if you were okay. We tried to phone, but...
I unplugged it to install a modem. What time is it?
Almost 5:30?
Oh, God, I'm an hour and a half late? Tell Bobby I'll be there in 10 minutes and tell him I apologize, will you? I just got wrapped up in something.
And completely lost track of time. It won't happen again, Bobby. You have my word.
Yeah, okay. I'll let it go this time. You've been reliable so far.
Thanks, Bobby.
Skip it. Take the grill.
Indiana. Next day.
Contact. Now, Mr. Fish, we'll find out if you're the person I was looking for.
New York, that night.
My God, can this possibly mean? No, that's crazy.
Next morning.
He's sitting in his padded cell, laughing his head off. I can feel it. He set it up this way so I'd have no idea what I was walking into.
Inside.
Merle! I'm in the next room, not the next county. Take it easy, Jake. What do you need?
I was told to ask for you. I'm picking up the parcel for Pierre and JD.
Oh. He's dead, then.
What? No. Oh, no, nothing like that. He just asked me to pick it up.
For him or for you?
Good question. For me, I think. Were you close to him?
Not the way you mean. He did me a favor. I tried to be his friend.
What kind of favor? Or would you rather not?
Wait here. I'll bring the package. What's your name?
Kurt. Kurt Gerhardt.
Merle. Singer. Whatever I can do to help, come to me.
The costume and the purification gun. Heavier than it looks. What am I supposed to do with this? Go out and start shooting fools? That must be what Salinger had in mind. But did I? Lone officer to grillman to vigilante killer. There's a logical career track.
The purse is ours. The issue is your face, whether you keep it or I stomp it.
What? Leave her alone!
Yeah, wimp wad. You want to enforce that order? You know, your money appeals to me more than hers. There's a lesson we gotta teach you, wimp wad. Nobody pokes his nose into our business on our street. Or put it this way, you ever see Chinatown, that movie? Don't come any closer, I'm warning you. Ooh, I'm scared. I mean, really, deeply frightened. In fact, I'm gonna cut your tongue out so you can't... What the hell is that?
He's got a phaser, we're dead!
To be continued.